I'm Cape Joel, and this installment of Comic Smack has been brought to you by the good folks over at T-Blocks. If you want an awesome comic-themed shirt like the one I'm wearing right now, then head on over to T-Blocks. For a small price, you can get one every month. It's a great surprise, and to sweeten the deal, if you use my promo code both on screen and down in the description, you'll get yourself a wicked deal. So, with that out of the way, let's hop on into the video, which is...
We're taking a closer look at Champions, issue number 11. How will these young superheroes deal with the horrors of war brought on by the Secret Empire? Well, let's hop on in together and find out. So, as we join the comic, we can see that this story actually takes place in the past. The Champions have been dispatched to deal with the destruction of Las Vegas following Captain America's reign of death upon the city to show how serious he was. The team breaks up to cover more ground, and we get to see some interactions between characters who so far haven't had a chance to talk to each other. First up is Amadeus Cho, the totally awesome Hulk, and Joaquin Torres, the new Falcon. The two swap origin stories. Cho wonders if the Falcon ever feels self-conscious that he got his genes spliced with a vampire bird. After all, Cho sometimes feels unconscious. As the prophet Kermit once said, it's not easy being green. Joaquin, on the other hand, has no problem with the feathers because they give him the ability to freaking fly, and how cool is that? While the two are unable to find any survivors, they do manage to stumble across something dangerous. Hydra's laser attacks manage to ignite a bunch of underground gas mains, and if they don't deal with it right now, there's going to be a second boom. Now, across the city, the new Patriot, as well as Ironheart and Miles Morales' Spider-Man, are trying to open up a plane where they believe people may be trapped after the blast. When they get in, though, they're horrified to see that not only are all the passengers dead, but they've more or less been microwaved inside this giant metal tube. It's enough horrors to give anyone nightmares, but no one's taking it harder than Sean Patriot. Keep in mind, he's been a hero for less time than anybody on the Champions. Riri gives Patriot a hard time, saying that if he's too soft for this line of work, maybe he shouldn't be in it. She also has a lot of resentment for him at this time, seeing as Patriot got his costume from Hollow Tony while she had to build her own. Yeah, apparently my mentor, who's not really being a good mentor at this moment, is just handing out super suits to anyone who asks for them. I guess I'm not so special anymore, am I? It's Miles who's forced to step up and be the voice of reason in this situation, that the last thing heroes need to do right now is fight one another, especially when Hydra is picking off different groups one at a time. Oh sure, today it's Inhumans they're rounding up and sending off to camps, but what do they do when they run out of Inhumans? What group do they move on next to turn into their great scapegoat? Third up in this series of short stories is Nadia Pym, the new Wasp, as well as Viv, the daughter of the Vision. This is probably my favorite little aside they've done so far. Nadia mentions that, hey, if hanging out with the Champions for this long, does that make her an actual champion? She was an Avenger before everything kicked off. Also, hey Viv, in a weird way, we're kind of family, aren't we? I'm Hank Pym's secret daughter, you're the Vision's daughter, who is the son of Ultron. Ultron was created by Hank Pym. It's funny it took this horrible Hydra taking over the United States for the two of us to actually sit down and have a conversation with one another. It's the Wasp's big genius brain that actually gives the Champions their next course of action. Using Viv's internal systems, they scan for Wi-Fi signals all over the city for people attempting to call out for help who might still be alive. This leads them all deeper into the city, and once again through an absolute horror show of dead people. It's here too the team talks and gets a little insightful about their own personal mission statement. They say they formed the Champions because they had lost faith in the older heroes and their ability to connect to your everyday average Joe. That they were way more interested in fighting their own battles, their own civil wars, and yet that is the exact same rallying cry that Captain America and Hydra used to gain power in the United States. And that if your average Joe is so willing to lay down and roll over for Hydra, is that a battle even worth fighting anymore? This rather dour feeling quickly disappears though when the team manages to find one survivor, a baby who was left alive in a nearby maternity ward. That's as much confirmation as they need that they do need to continue fighting so that this child won't have to grow up in a country ruled by a bunch of green and yellow fascists. Because at the end of the day, it's the duty of every new generation to not repeat the mistakes of the one that preceded it. And that right there is where the comic begins to wind down. So that's Champions number 11, everyone, and overall, it was a fine little anthology tale. Although as we get closer to the end of Secret Empire and these tie-ins continue to come out, I'm starting to feel that maybe all the important logistical information and lore tidbits were backloaded in the earlier parts of them. If you love character interaction, and Champions is definitely a book all about character interaction, I think there's some stuff to enjoy here, especially if the solicitations are to be believed and that the Champions team may actually be growing and changing its member roster in Legacy. We kind of get a little early sneak peek about what possible character character dynamics could be moving forward. Overall, it was good, even if it didn't really move the needle that hard. I would argue that I liked issue 10 a lot more than I liked this one, but at the end of the day, I'd still feel comfortable giving it a 6.5 out of 10. So there's Champions, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, why not check out some of the other videos I have on offer from the channel. Then you can follow me on social media at Cape Joel. So until next time, everyone, this has been Cape Joel. Thank you so much for watching.